and justice for all.
I understand Jim Ingwick might be a little late, and Bill Orton's not here, but we still have a quorum, so we can continue. Make a motion to approve the minutes from the September 1st meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Rich, I'll second it. Motion's been made and seconded. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. I don't have any correspondence, do you?
I do not.
Review the financial statement.
Okay. Our bills for this month are $1,743.12. $88.67 for tax collector. KLH engineers is $200. Sherry's invoice is $309.20. And then we have two from Jablonski, Costello, and Lecky for $1,074. And then we have a separate invoice for costs from the same for $71.25. And that brings our balance as of today at $43,552.02. So that's where we're at this moment.
Motion to accept the financial report and to pay the bills as read.
I'll make a motion to do it.
Second.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Solicitors.
There wasn't too much this month. I was contacted about that bill that was owed for the taxes that were prorated on the property, and I was asked to prepare the annual letter for the audit, which was taken care of. That's about it.
All right, motion to accept the solicitor's report.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. Motion's been made and seconded. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Engineers report.
All right, thank you. Not a whole lot to report as well. We did have a conference call update with FNB back on September 7th. I think we're gonna have these probably once a month. So the next one is
Sounds
scheduled
wonderful.
for next Tuesday, I
Tuesday,
believe, October
12th.
12th.
October 12th.
And they take maybe 25 minutes.
Seems about what they.
Yeah. And then Gary passed along some information that he had heard from the township as far as this American Rescue Plan Act money. The county, I believe, has about 11 million to dole out. So I did talk to, I gave Lisa Cessna a call at the county, talked to Carrie Fox. They both recommended I talk to the finance director, Joshua Hatfield. So I called, left him a voicemail, and just briefly explained that we have a shovel-ready project that we would love to be considered for financing for. So hopefully he'll call back and hopefully lead to somewhere. And then we will, I think it's about time we jump back into the remaining easements, the railroad permit and the PennDOT permit. So I'll be working with the office to get those squared away.
Okay.
And if we need to file any condemnations, we would do that as a group, I believe.
Right, there will be, well, I forget what the voluntaries turned out to be percentage-wise, but there will still be a number of them, but it will be a group filing that will take all of them at once if we're able to accomplish that, because it'll save a few dollars in terms of filings.
Filing fees.
Yeah. They still hit you per name and per page, but it's still a little cheaper.
With the court system as slow as it is,
Yeah.
that could be interesting, but
Well, as soon as we file it, it's ours. And it's
yeah.
just a matter of what what ends up happening with it after that.
That's all I have.
Have
Unless
you
there's any
heard
questions?
anything from anybody else after we had that conference call with?
No, Penvest has been quiet. Todd Cawley, RUS, quiet. Thought we might hear back from Guy Reschenthaler's office,
Yeah,
but
nothing.
nothing. I think they still don't fully understand
Well-
what's coming down.
Because this plan is not passed.
Right,
I was gonna
exactly.
say the infrastructure
Exactly.
bill
So I think
is
everyone-
installed right now.
And even Lisa, with the county, she said the county is trying to figure out how this program would work and what mechanism they would use to give out the funds. So it's still
This
a work
may
in
be-
progress.
I work, yeah, I was gonna
Maybe a
say.
case of squeaky wheel too.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Sometimes it is, yes.
Government that's
Yep,
not unfounded.
that is correct.
I'll make a motion to accept the engineer's report. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. I'm gonna start with Wayne, Gary, because Wayne does, he just comes and shows a smiling face, and I know you're gonna take his time and your time.
Just to hear what's going on, huh? Good for you.
Anything, Wayne?
Yeah, give my thoughts.
Okay, you guys don't know, Gary Cowden is also a township supervisor too.
But I'm
He
in the
has-
audience tonight.
But he's in the audience tonight.
So, a couple questions, pretty quickly. I heard a rumor about the price tag, but I thought I'd just ask, where is the price tag right at the moment?
32.37 million.
32.37 million. For how many EDUs?
Just under 600.
Just under
570 was
570.
the number we were currently at.
570, or 32 million. The single plant thing, and I understand how, when Emily was in charge, how the single plant thing got pushed very hard and things went there. But the reality is $32 million versus what is happening in Union Township right now. They are going to the small plant. They gave up on trying to run the big pipeline. They're going to the small plant, and to put in 100 EDU single plant for one section of their watershed issue, because they have quite the same kind of problem we do. They have this multiple watershed functionality. They're looking at spending, they're figuring on the max side, around 1.5 million. The plant construction cost, I've been told, is running right at about, because it's a package plant, and it's gonna run right at $750,000 to $850,000 to get the plant put in and moving. And then the other money on that is the administrative side, getting DEP to actually give a permit for a point of discharge, even though, I love what they say in Harrisburg. They say DEP stands for don't expect a permit. But the reality is, even if we had to put in on these 5 watersheds, 5 plants to try to start dealing with some of this stuff, if those numbers, which I think the authorities should look into, don't trust me, call up Union Township, ask them what they've been doing. If those numbers are real, you're looking at well under $10 million to put in different plants at different points. If you went with 5 plants, and that's a big chunk of difference between that 3-mile pipeline at the price of pipelines right now, and the monthly cost of just running those pumps, and the dual lines for every line that goes in a manhole, because you gotta have a gravity down and a force up. And, I mean, seriously, I would hope the authority, and I know how long it's been, and I know how hard it is to say, did we just waste a whole bunch of time and energy? But under 10 million versus 30 million, I'm just asking, is it something that can be considered that we say, yeah, hey, how many EDUs is Dyer Drive and this side of the ridge? 1 plant there, and how much of Hickory's issue have you taken care of? 1 on the other side, you're gonna have to go into that railroad whether you do the system that's on the books right now or a new system. Yeah, a plant on that side, and you take care of that side of Hickory. Now you've got rid of the worst problem within the thing. That's where the majority of the failing systems are. That's only 2 plants out of trying to feed all
Well,
5
you have to
waters.
do one in Southview.
And
Southview's,
Southview, so
Southview's
3.
worse than up here.
Westland's pretty bad too.
Wait, Southview's
West.
worse than Bear Drive? Oh, wow. I'm impressed.
Oh, yeah.
I guess I haven't been to that cesspool yet.
Yeah, but I also understand there's a possibility of a farm over in Southview, you might be able to get 10 acres off of. Low area.
That's something to consider, Dave.
Yeah, so that is, I'm sure you're familiar with our overall site map that shows the entire facility. Southview's at the very upper right, and of course the plant's at the bottom.
Yep.
So yes, there is a lot of interceptor to be built between Southview and the plant. We did look at, and this was kind of at the request of Penvest, RUS, DEP, to see if we could break out the areas. So we actually put a price tag on each feature of the project. The plant alone is 8.4 million. And then, of course, we have the large interceptor and collector sewers. Those are 12 and 8 million. And then we have 4 pump stations.
Right.
And the pump stations are,
And the 3
Close to
miles
a
I
million
referenced is the 3 miles from the Hickory point down to Westland. I mean, I don't know what the Southview's gonna cost you. I didn't look at the numbers for that distance, but
I just don't understand how we're looking at 8.39 mil for the plant in Weston, and they're looking at 750,000 per
it's a
plant?
package plant. Package plants,
That's a major difference.
that's why I thought I'd bring it
and
to
that was
your attention, gentlemen.
100 customers, is that right?
It was 100 EDU
100
plant.
PDUs.
Do
I mean, for 8.39 million, we could build 10 plants at 700,000.
if you put 100 EDU unit in, and let's say something builds somewhere and you need more, can you expand that or not?
I mean,
You'd have to put a second plant.
Yeah, as long as you have the
drop in a second
property.
unit, yeah, is the easiest way to do it.
Those plants do have a shorter lifespan than these other plants. Well, I'm just saying the pros and cons.
George,
So
I don't disagree with you.
And I'm wondering
I think
about
David
maintenance on
should-
too.
Explain what it would take to change a 537 Act at this point.
That was my next question.
Oh yeah, so
Yeah, just.
fortunately or unfortunately, we have our planning approved. We have the Act 537 approved, and that, I'm sure, was, I came into this after the fact, but I'm sure that was a 1.5 to 2 year.
I've been here
process.
15 years.
Okay, yes. So we have the Act 537 approved. That allowed us to pursue with the Part 1 permit. That allows us to discharge to the stream. We have that. And then we actually have our Part 2 construction permit from DEP that allows us to build the entire system. Yeah, so to go back and redo the 537, and that's probably a year, 9 months to a year process by the time it's
I know
formulated
last time we
and
went in there, it was
advertised and
8
approved.
years ago or so, it was changed.
Yeah, but by the
Took how
time
long to
COVID's
get
back
here?
out of session, it might be that.
Well, and
bad.
now is a bad time, and I think, well, hopefully we're coming out of the hole, but it would be a horrible time to advertise any project for bid right now, just because supplies are
Nobody has any workers.
limited, and that,
Oh,
yeah.
I don't disagree, but as a,
Yeah, this
as a
30
resident of this township, a $20,000 or $20 million save is something that I think really should be considered. And you're gonna spend another year getting things finished up with the condemnations and everything else. And that pipeline's gonna take how long to build? 3 miles just for the Hickory to Westland? What is the whole main line to get everything to Westland gonna end up taking to build versus a package plant where your gravity system is what you're really looking at?
To eliminate the pump stations.
This is my point. Each pump station's running,
Yeah, this will be
if
a
my
year.
sources are correct, about $1,000 a month just to run the pump station, right?
Oh, and electricity and.
Yeah.
No, it'll be a lot less than that.
We'd still need one to pump it, because of where the plant would be in Weston, you'd still need to pump it up. But that's only one place.
And George, your point, you're gonna replace those pumps a lot more often than you're gonna worry about that package plant. If you put the cathodic protection on that package plant will last, it's for a very reasonable life.
Oh, I've never been against the package plant. I'm just,
What is the life
Same.
expectancy of a package plant, Dave?
I would say 20 to 25 versus 50. Probably about half of what cast in place concrete would be.
And it's because they're coming in metal. You're dropping them in. That's why I
Oh,
say
is
the
that what
cathodic
they're
protection.
metal?
Oh, yeah, they're
That's why
steel.
the cathodic protection is so important. You gotta get the anodes in, you gotta replace those anodes. It's just like in your hot water tank. You can keep a hot water tank for 75 years if you replace the anode every 6 years.
And that's what they do on all the gas pipelines too.
sure.
Exactly.
That's something to consider, thanks.
Thank you for giving me the
Maintenance is a
time.
key.
Pardon?
I said good maintenance is a key.
Yeah, I mean, that's, we can, and you're right, we're gonna be a year away anyway.
Well, construction itself will be 1.5 to 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll have probably 6 to 8 contracts.
Right. And again, let me be clear, I don't fault where it went. When Emily was in charge of DEP, there was a whole attitude about, I'm gonna have this region with the least number of pointed discharges or something in her head. I don't know what it was. But that doesn't exist anymore based on people I've been talking to, so. Yeah, pointed discharges aren't so hard to get anymore.
Let's put a, can you chat with DEP
Sure.
and just feel them out, see what they say?
Yes. Yeah, the only bad thing with us starting to pull out pieces, we lose the EDUs and the customers. But I guess that
Well-
one big pocket would be Southview, right?
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean? How do you lose the EDUs and the
You-
customers?
well,
Because you're
per-
only
per
doing a
plant.
piece.
Gotta be getting
Well,
rid
a
of-
piece at a time,
Right.
but then the cost is different, so.
But there can be an advantage there just in your staffing. So you bring somebody in, you put them on a small plant, you get things going, and you get your crew built up, and you get things running right, and then you're down another 2 years down the road, you're putting in that second plant at Dyer Drive or wherever, and because your staffing doesn't have to go up if you have multiple plants. You don't have to have the same number of people each plant, you just have to have
Right.
people
They
go
just
around.
travel
deal with
around.
it. So,
My thought was if you did one for Dyer Drive, where would you dump that one?
Where would that be generally on that map?
Dyer
I think
Drive
he's thinking,
is-
where's the low point? How do you gravity feed to a plant? Which you're gonna have to go under the railroad. If you're gonna try to do Dyer Drive, you're probably going under the railroad going there. But you guys had to do that for the other system anyways, right? So,
Yeah, we'll have a railroad permit.
then
Well,
you're down, Range Resources owns a piece of property down there. Why don't you ask them about, seeing if they, don't they, is that
I
piece of
don't know how
property
big,
they
I
own
don't
come
know, I
down
don't
to
know
the
how
creek?
big, I don't know how big that is.
How far down the street is it?
It's down by Elm, where
Yeah.
Elm comes out.
Just
You know,
past
the problem
Elm.
with getting
Just
down to
past Elm.
I said, getting to Elm is a problem. Because of the,
Oh, because of the,
what do you call it?
You'd have to go down the highway. Yes, he is going to use his agricultural
Yeah,
act.
that's it.
He's
I don't know
gonna
what
use his
it's protected.
agricultural act to stop you from going through the property. So you're gonna go down,
Well, going on the highway is a lot more expensive than down
you're
the
going down
field.
Pendle. I understand that, George,
That's
but
all
if
stone.
going that little bit down this road is gonna be a whole lot cheaper than
I'm just
going down to
saying.
Westland with a big pipeline.
We have, but you are picking up Westland and everybody that's there is the difference. Where here, you're just picking up a field.
I don't disagree with you. That's why I'm saying Westland, because here's the other advantage. You put in Westland, how many EDUs is Westland?
There's currently about 40 houses in the town itself, but then Eddie Sherrick will blow up how many houses? What do you tell me, 26 lots?
Well, yeah, he owns lots and lots, but that's my point. If you put, if your third plant or even your second plant, you decide you're gonna put in Westland, you're still covering Westland, and then you have the ability to slowly build yourself, upgrade up the creek, start picking up those manufacturing places and the different service company places, shoot, at some point you may get all the way back up to the old auction. I don't know, but
Might even make it to Hickory eventually.
now, it's that kind of a deal. I would advise, if you do go this way, you need to figure out how to control your EDUs, because you don't want to end up with one person coming in and you have 25 open on that plant, and somebody gobbles up all 25 right off the bat.
And you don't wanna oversize the original plant.
You don't want oversized big, and you don't, that's right.
What do they run?
They
100?
won't even let you, will they?
No.
Oversize it.
Not if you're going through PennDOT.
Do they run, what, 100 EDUs, 125, 150, or is it
As far as,
the size of the
Size of a
plant?
package.
Size of a package plant, he's asking. Or is there different sizes?
oh yeah, I mean, they can be customized, it's just the size of the tank. There's typically an influent,
So could a package plant
Grinder
handle
pump.
600 units?
I don't think that would qualify as a, yeah, I think, probably hundreds,
Okay,
yeah.
that's what we're trying to nail down.
Yeah,
All right.
they're classified.
Thank you, sir.
He'll talk to,
Thank you.
do some fish around with DEP, see what kind of comments they have, and see where we go from there.
All right.
Anything else?
That-
We already talked about the permitting, financing, working on that. We don't need to move any money.
No.
Hello, everyone. Sorry I'm
All
late.
right, now that you sit down, you can make a motion to adjourn.
Well, let me take this all in first. Go on.
Here,
Here, yeah.
I'll give it to you. I'll make a motion, let me back up. Two things. November 3rd, Sherry's gonna be out of town, and there's a good shot I'm gonna be out of town so I think at this point, we'll cancel the November 3rd meeting.
Well,
And-
that being said, I've got some new business in November, I'm going in for a foot operation, and I'm gonna get laid up for a while. And I'm gonna go ahead and drop down. I've been on board for 15 years, I think it's time.
It ain't time.
It's time.
It ain't time, we're just getting close.
Yeah.
No, don't do that.
No.
Listen to you.
Don't do that.
Me too, would no.
Jeez, I mean.
Let me echo that. No.
So
No.
that's not gonna happen, George.
I'm just not allowed to.
No, you're not, George.
And I'll talk to Kathy, so.
No.
Okay, I'm in big trouble.
Yep.
Motion declined.
What if I'm just not here?
Right?
Well, we'll let you miss a
We'll
couple.
let you miss a couple meetings when you're bummed
Are
up.
you
but-
Yeah.
Honestly, I even have,
Yes.
for your sake too, we
Yeah.
went
Nothing
through
real
this.
serious,
If
but
somebody has to,
it's
you
like
can
6
phone
months.
in and you can verify them by phone, and you could phone to the meeting.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right.
That's what-
Well, our last supervisors meeting, I was the only one here. Gary was out of town and George Rice was out of town. They both phoned in.
Yeah.
Second class township, you can do that.
Right.
So
Worked just fine.
the answer's no.
Now we can
You're
adjourn.
over.
Yeah,
I'll make a
well,
motion.
We're gonna have a short executive session after the meeting for some